How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to look at Spider-Man Miles Morales. We're going to take a look at the PS5 version versus the PC port. We're going to talk about how we like the game and how it played on each platform and what we think the differences are, and we'll go into it from there.
Miles Morales was released on PlayStation in November of 2020, and it was released on PC in November of 2022, exactly 2 years later for them to port the game.
What did you play on?
I played it on the PlayStation 5.
Okay, and I downloaded from Steam and played it PC port. Actually, you know what? I want to start with that, actually, because what I'd like to say is that the PC port was excellent. Excellent.
Okay. Good.
Everything worked perfectly. And I don't know if it was a Steam thing, if it's a developer thing, but everything was mapped to mouse and keyboard well. Everything worked with the controller well. It had all the things that you would want from a PC game. I didn't even realize that it was a PlayStation exclusive. Oh. When you said that you wanted to play it and review it, I just downloaded it and started playing. I didn't realize that it had just come out on PC and was an actual PlayStation game that released 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So they had me fooled. Like a lot of times with a lot of games, and I'm thinking of one in particular. It came out just recently. The sword game. Oh my God, Elden Ring.
Oh, Elden Ring
was a horrible PC port. Awful. I couldn't figure out how to open the map. If you play on a PC, M is map. And on Elden Ring, it wasn't. And I don't, so no, this ported over perfectly. Everything was the way that it should have been. It had the field of view slider. It had all the shaders for the graphics cards. Mm-hmm. It had the ray tracing. If you wanted to turn, the settings were good. The key bindings were good. Everything was good. So if you're looking to get this on PC, it's a great port. So don't worry about it. It's fine.
It works great on PlayStation.
Does it? Yeah. Well, it should, right?
Yeah, and the reason that I got on PlayStation is because I recently got a PlayStation 5.
Gotcha.
And there were just a handful of games that I want to play, and at the time, Miles Morales wasn't available on the PC. So I was just like, okay, we'll go ahead and get it, and I added it to the backlog. And then, of course, once I did that, I found out that it is coming to the PC, and I figured this is a great time to review it so we can have two sides of the game from our experiences. Mm-hmm. So being on the PlayStation 5, the game ran smooth as butter at 4K at 60 frames a second.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And so I have a 5600X CPU and a 5700 XT GPU, and it decided that I should play on high, and I ran at 100 frames per second on high. So I don't know exactly what I don't know what resolution I'm at, to be honest. I'm
True
old.
gamer,
I don't
folks.
care. And plus, I play FPS a lot, so I always drop down to the lowest settings anyway.
Lowest settings, yeah, to get the more frames.
Yes, so I don't even know. I don't ever look. I know I've got a 144 hertz monitor, but other than that,
you're trying to get to 144.
Yeah, I have no idea what my resolution is. So anyway,
Enough.
But yes, 100 frames per second on the PC with those hardware, and I can say one thing I will say about the way that it ran smooth, very smooth. Mm-hmm. For a PC port, that's actually good too, because a lot of times they can be a little wonky.
A little,
but
clunky, stuttery.
I have a water cooler for my CPU, and it turned my fan up big time. My fan was running harder than any game that I've ever run on it, I think. I can't think of any other game that's pushed it that hard. I even brought up my GPU to see your temperatures, core temp. And man, it was running good. Not over, but more than other games push it. So that is one thing.
Well, the game looks phenomenal.
Yes,
I mean, it looks absolutely astounding. Mm-hmm. This is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. And as far as like Marvel graphics, I don't know how to explain it. It's not cartoonish. It's not realism. It's kind of a mix in between the two. The cutscenes are the game, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. The game looks and sounds phenomenal.
Yes, I did notice that, actually. There will be times that you'll be in a cutscene, and you'll swing and land on something, and then all of a sudden you're going.
Yeah, that's you.
It's you. Yeah, now you're ready to go. There is no okay, we're going to go from this cutscene to the live version. It's flawless, seamless.
Yes,
It's
yes.
seamless.
And there are times where you're swinging through a building, it does the same thing. You've got to take over the swing or you're just going to drop to the ground.
Yes, it does do that, yeah.
So you need to be aware that they will drop you, kind of when the cutscene ends, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
There's no pause, there's no making the screen wider to kind of show you that you're getting ready to take control. It's just you've got it.
Yes. Yep, it does do that for sure. So we were talking about the graphics. I did want to say I could not run it at the highest setting, so I wanted to see somebody do it. I watched somebody that had ray tracing on. They had everything on. It's even more fantastic. I mean, if you have a high-end CPU or if you have a high-end gaming PC and you can run ray tracing, it is really nice. They stopped and were like hanging on the side of a building and looking at the reflections in the building. It looks really good. Even swinging through the streets, even for me, the reflections that I got were good. But with the ray tracing on, it looked phenomenal.
So on my version, you can actually, there's two options. You can run the game at a higher resolution at 30 frames per FPS, or you can do 60 and turn the graphics down.
Gotcha.
Like ray tracing and things like that. You can turn that off. I decided to turn that off because I wanted the game to run a little smoother. And I didn't want the graphic fidelity at that time because of the action for the game. I wanted the action to be nice and smooth. Even I switched back and forth a few times between the two. You can kind of tell a difference. It's a little slower paced, but when you switch it back to the 60, it's really good. And it's nice that they have that option that you can pick which one that you would prefer. Because there are some people who don't want to do they want to make the game easier and play the the story that plays out and not kind of worry about the how fluid the combat can be. Those are the people that are going to want to select the option for 30 frames and more graphic fidelity.
Yeah. So as far as the story goes, this is a pretty short game.
Yes, compared to the first one I played, it was about 35 to 40 hours.
This
just the game. This is not including getting all the extras and the suits and all the other stuff.
Okay.
It was about 35 to 40 hours, and I didn't do anything extra. I mean, I did some of the side quests to get the tokens to upgrade the gear a little bit, and then I, would go back to play the main story.
Yeah.
But Miles Morales takes place directly after the first Spider-Man game.
And so I want to. This is probably less than 20 hours total.
Took me 8
to do all. But even if you did all the side quests,
I would say it's probably a little longer than that.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
right around
because
right around 20 hours.
Yeah, because it was 8 hours just to do the game, and I didn't do any of the extras.
Okay.
This time
and
around.
so you're talking about $50, I think, is what I spent on it. $49.99 for between 10 and 20 hours of game.
Yeah.
Seems a little overpriced to me, I would say, but if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're going to play it anyway. There are games that I've bought that were probably more expensive than that, and I'm like, I don't care, I'm getting it anyway. It's one of those things. But yeah, it is shorter than the first game for sure. So keep that in mind when you're looking where you want to spend your money.
But at least it's not $70 like some games
It's
that are
true.
newer games that are coming
It is
out.
true.
Since it's a port, at least it's it's within reason. I would say $50 is okay. If it was 60 or 70,
Yeah.
probably
Well,
not.
no, 60 or 70. No. I would not even. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't recommend it for $70. But I'm not sure that I would recommend any games for $70.
fair.
That kills me. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about gameplay.
Okay.
When I loaded the game up and I started playing it, I texted you
Yes.
and I
Not a
said,
very nice text.
I hate this game with every fiber of my being. Now,
Said why? Why? How can you hate this game?
So I started playing on the mouse and keyboard. In most of the things that you do on mouse and keyboard, and yes, I know I could have rebounded, I'm sure, but everything works with your pinky. So your pinky is doing your swinging, your pinky is doing your spacebar does a little bit, but most everything you're doing it with your pinky back and forth. And I just was running out of patience with that. In missing things, in honestly, I'm a guitar player too, so I use my fingers, all of them. They move pretty well, and so I really didn't like it when I started the game, and there were the couple reasons. Number one, I don't play action adventure third person fighting games, so it's not in my wheelhouse anyway. this game would be something I would rather watch the story than play it.
I could see that.
Because, I like the movies. I'm waiting for the next movie to come out. I enjoy the Miles Morales character. Enjoy him in that world as Spider-Man. But I'm not big, like, I did not care for the combat. I didn't care for swinging through the city, other than the first 10 minutes. I do not like games at all, and they will turn me off immediately from a game if they put me in a cutscene and I have to push a button. If there's a combat cutscene and it says press X now or you're gonna die, I'm out. I'm literally out of the game. I don't want to play it. As soon as that pops up, I'm like, it just cuts me off from the game. I hate it so much, and I know it's not in this game very often, but the first time it is, I get pulled out of the game, and I'm like, I'm almost done with it now. I can't even keep playing the game. So the combat is fun. I can see how it would be fun for people. It's not my type of combat, so I'm not gonna tell you the combat is bad. I'm saying I don't like it, but I'm sure both of my kids played the game too, and they both liked it. Yes. So they're like, "How do you not like this game?" I'm like, "I'm sorry."
I said the same thing. How do you not like this game? It's very fun.
I like the story. I like the graphics. I like the sound. I don't like playing the game.
The combat is very easy, and that's, I mean, for an old guy like me, that's what I like. I don't want super complicated, you gotta up, down, left, right, BA, start to do one combo. Mm-hmm. The combos in the game are very simple.
They do have a lot, though.
You attack, press down and then knock them up, and then you can hit them when they're in the air and swing.
Yep,
and
you can do the swing
webs,
knocks.
And then you gotta change your, armament. You can pick clones and mines, and there's just different ways of doing combat. I prefer the sneak method. So whenever I would get into combat, I would turn invisible and then sneak away, and then they would all, kind of walk around. And then I would just kind of jump around on the top and pick them off one at a time. So there's different methods of playing. You can play the way I played it for sneaky, or you can just go in there and just,
wail away on everybody.
On everybody with your powers. So there's multiple different ways to play the game. Okay, I take that back. There's two ways to play the game. There's sneaking and there's attacking, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not like I think the combat is bad. I just don't like it. I don't like that style of combat. So the game was not for me, but I understand why other people like it. I get it. I would not tell somebody to not play the game because of the combat. The combat, when I did it, I enjoyed it for a little bit, and then I just kind of got, I don't know, again, it's just that's not my type of game. So it's not, I didn't like it personally. Again, like my kids were like, "Dad, how do you not like this game? How do you not like this game?"
This game is great.
Honestly, my youngest son, he's like, "This is my favorite game right now," and I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't like it." He's like, "What?" So yeah, no, but again, it comes down to personal preference with gameplay, and like I said in the beginning, this would be more of a game that I would watch it rather. I would watch somebody else play it than play it myself.
And when he had an issue with the controls, I was like, "Get a controller." As much as I hate controllers, because I'm mostly PC. 99% of the games that I play are on PC. Mouse and keyboard all the way. Right? That's me. I'm not a fan of controllers, but for this particular game, since it was built on a controller, you kind of want to. I think it would be best to play it on a controller. So I offered him my controller to play it. Yeah. Or if he had an Xbox controller to try that.
Yeah. So
did you try the controller?
I did. Okay. I started on mouse and keyboard, and I didn't like it. I moved to controller, and it was better.
Yes.
Now, I left the controller. I gave it back to my son because he's got his Xbox up in his room. I gave it back to him, and then I played it the next day, and I played it on mouse and keyboard again. I enjoyed the mouse and keyboard better. And that was after me going, I hate the controls on the mouse and keyboard. I switched over to the controller and played a few hours with the controller, and it was fine. It worked just fine. And then the next day I played on mouse and keyboard again, and I actually thought about it. And during combat, I was like, you know what? I actually like this better. So it's weird. I don't know.
An enigma wrapped in a riddle.
Whatever. But both work. I will say both work. If you're not used to playing an action game on mouse and keyboard, it is a little weird when you start, but you do get used to it. And I think that's probably what happened. Is it was so foreign. Some of the controls were so foreign. The way that you do certain combat things, that it took me a while to get used to the controls, and once I did, it was better. So yeah, there is that. So there is a lot of voice acting in the game. We'll talk about sound.
Yes.
A lot of voice acting.
Oh, everything.
Yeah, and
Everything is voice
done
acting.
well.
Yes.
Now I have heard people say the story is pretty meh, but
It's not as good as the first game. But I mean, this seems to be more of a companion game than an actual full standalone. It almost seems that this game could have been a DLC at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
I wonder if that had something to do with the moving to the PS5, to moving to a different engine almost. Not engine, I guess, because I don't know if it's on the same engine or not.
Yeah.
But to DLC, you have to add on to the old game. This feels like an upgrade, but not a full game.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess that's a great way to say it. It's not a DLC for the old game. It is a new game, but it feels like an add-on companion to the first game.
Kind of like a standalone that they have sometimes. What are your final thoughts on this? Would you recommend this to somebody?
You know what, I would. Even though, again, I feel like I say this all the time during reviews. Not my type of game. I did not enjoy it, but I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed the visuals. I enjoyed everything but playing the game. So if it's your type of game, if you like the action, I don't even, beat 'em up, swing around the city,
button masher.
Yeah, if you like that type of game, absolutely, because there is nothing wrong with this game. In fact, there's a lot of pluses to the game. Other than, I would say, the price turns me off a little bit for a shorter game.
I can see that.
Maybe wait until it goes on sale if you're not wanting to play it right now. So yeah, that would be mine. I would say sure, go for it.
Obviously I'm going to recommend it because this game is phenomenal. One of the things I would say is if you have a PlayStation and a gaming PC, you can get it on either. It's really not going to affect your decision one way or the other. If you get it on PC, there may be a little more flexibility, and since if you get it on Steam, there may be some, add-ons or something that, things that people build into the game. They can turn Spider-Man into, I don't know, Daffy Duck or whatever they want to do. On PlayStation, you're pretty much just set with what you've got.
Yeah.
But, the controller is going to be great if you want to watch it on a giant television or a projector or whatever. That's going to be a lot easier to do. Either way, you're not going to pick wrong.
Yeah. In just in case nobody knows this, I'm sure everybody does now, but for you old guys out there or old people, if you buy a game on Steam now, they do have the family share.
Okay.
Both of my kids played this game on their own Steam accounts after I bought it. So even though, again, like, it was not the game for me, they both played it and loved it. They played it all the way through. So for $50, 3 people played the game.
It's a good deal. And that wraps up our review of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Until next time.
See you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos.